Hello friend, welcome back. In our previous video, we successfully insert this data, right? So here right now we can able to insert this data and also we are able to edit this data. So if you click as the edit, and now that is our edit. That means here we display it by the value. So now I want to update it. Okay, so the procedure will be very easy. So in our edit page, so now go to our edit page. Into the edit page, they have also one of the form. So into the form area, I want to add one of the route. So that will be as an update. Okay, update is student class, and after that also we have to add one of the ID, right? We have to add our this table ID. So that is our table, and this table and this ID. We have to update it with a specific one of the ID. For the reasons here, I have already get all the data in our edit page. I have passed it. I have already get that a specific one row data. I take the things with this variable, and here I pass it, right? So now we can actually use it in our edit class. That means edit class page, and with this I want to access our this table ID. Perfect. So that's all. So now we have to create this route. Now go to our web route, and that will be also as a post method. So better I copy it, and after that will be as a post method, right? Because here we have to update this data, so that will be as a student, and I name it as a update student class. I copy it. That will be as a update student class with a specific one of the ID. So I make it as a student class update. That will be our URL, and then in our student class controller I want to create one of the method as a student class update. Okay, that will be as a student class update. Perfect. So friend, that's all. Now we have to create this method in our student class controller. Now go to our student class controller. After this I paste as a public, and then function, and then our method, and that will be one of the post method. So for the post method here we have to pass that request, and also we have to pass that ID, right? So now I simply pass that as a request, and then the $request. So that will be as a $request, and also after that we have to pass one of the ID. So that will be our ID. Perfect. And then our same procedure actually have to apply. You can see that is actually our store. So better I copy it. I copy total things from here, from our store class. It should be just like that same, and here I paste it. Okay, I simply paste it, and that is our last one. And perfect. So now I want to before we insert this data, so when you insert this data we have to create that as a one of the objects. So right now we don't need this. First of all, before this validation I want to add it. Okay, here only we have to add that our specific find data ID. That means this find ID. So now we don't need this. So now with this student class we have to find it. That means the find, and find our this ID, right? So that will be our this ID. Perfect. And then our validation. So if you want to display that validation, that means this required and unique. It should be unique in our student classes table, and that is our name, right? And name also here, if you want to update it, that ID, that means here also we have to pass this ID. So this ID means our this ID. So with this ID I want to pass it. So here we have to make it comma, and then we have to add that as a concrete or this data. With this data we have to pass this ID, because of all they have also one of the requested ID, right? So now I pass this ID. That means this row data ID. Okay, perfect. So that means our validation should be work right now, and then our data, and then data will be saved. Everything will be just like that same. Here it will be show some of the message as a student class updated successfully. Okay, so this type of one of the messages will be display, and then it will be redirect to our index page. That means our view page. Perfect. That means the student class view page with the notification. So friend, that's all. Okay, that's all we have to do. Now let's check this out. If you click as a save all, and now go there, click as a refresh. So in our unexpected this in our web.php, so what exactly did I wrong? So here that is our, you can see that is actually maybe I copy it. So that will be as a student update this one. So they have actually one of the single code. Now click as a save all, refresh it. Yeah, it's now perfect. So now I want to update it as a 1 Now click as a update. Yes, you can see it's now successfully updated. That means the student class updated successfully, and also you can see it's now updated. And now I also want to check this validation, like if you insert any data into the insert data, when it should be as a empty, if you click as a submit, yeah, you can see it's now showing as the name field is required. So for the insert, I have already added this type of one of the validation, so that will be as a required and unique. I also want to check it. I have already created one of the name, that means the class name, as a class 2. So now if you click as a submit, yeah, you can see it's now perfectly getting this validation that name has already been taken. That means right now our this one actually the unique, right? That means our store validation is perfectly working. And now I also want to check it for our update. So for the update, if you go here, I want to click as a edit, like I copy it, or this one I copy it, click as a edit, and here you can see there is edit, and also there have the ID. So that is the requested ID. I have already passed it on here. That means right now that is a required, and also now I want to check it that is appropriate unique or not. So now I make it this ID, that means this class that have also one of the ID. Okay, so now I click as update. Yes, you can see it's now perfectly getting our this validation that name has already been taken. Okay, so that means everything is working perfectly. Our validation is working. So if you want to edit it again, click as edit. Okay, and now I want to update. Now click as update. Yeah, you can see it's now successfully updated. That means the student class updated successfully. So now I want to work for our this delete function, and into the delete I have already added one of the sweet alert, right? So for the sweet alert, it's actually getting it because of all, if you go to our view, into the view area for the delete, here you can see I have already added one of the ID. So this, for this ID actually is getting this our sweet alert, because in our admin, if you go to that admin, into the admin master, there is actually the sweet alert I am using. So that is actually our sweet alert, and here you can see there is actually our delete ID. Perfect. That means here we don't need to do anything. Everything will be ready-made. So now I only want to create one of the route. So our route will be as a student class. I make it as a student class and the delete and then student ID, right? So we have to create this route. Now go to our web route. So after this, I copy it. That will be one of the post on the get method, not the post method. So get method is student, and then here I have name it as a student class delete, and that will be as a student class delete, right? And then I make it as a student class delete with a specific one of the ID. And now in our student class controller, I want to create one of the method as a student class delete. So that will be as a delete. Perfect. Now we have to create this method in our student class. Now go to our student class. Here I want to make it as a public, and then function, and then our method as a student class delete. And also there have one of the ID we have to pass this ID, so that will be as a ID, right? And then I have to add our user. That might take one of the variable as a user, and then with our model name as a student class, right? So with this student class model, first of all I want to find that ID. That means the find our this requested ID, we have to delete it with a specific one of the ID, right? I take it with this variable, and now this user I want to delete it. So I simply add our delete method. Okay, automatically it will be deleted. I hope friend it's very much clear to you, because it's with this class, that means with this model, I find a specific row ID data, and then I take the things with this variable, and this data I simply delete it. Okay, so that's all you have to do. And after that I also want to show some of the notification. I copy it, and after this one it will be deleted. It will be show some of the notification message as a student class deleted successfully. Okay, and I better make it as an info class. That will be as an info class. Okay, perfect. And when it will be deleted, then it will be deleted to our view page with the notification. So friend, that is the main our code application. So here actually is very much easy one of the process. I hope every line is very much clear to you, right? So now I want to check it. Now click as a save all, and now here I click as a refresh. I want to insert another new data as a test. Click as a edit. That means our insert is successfully working, data is visible, and to check that edit, our edit I check, make it as a this one, click as a update. Yeah, is now student class updated successfully. And now I want to delete. So if you make it as a, you can see our sweet alert is loaded. So now if you click as a cancel, everything will be just like that same. If you click as a yes, delete it. Okay, yes, you can see it's now showing as a student class deleted successfully, and also it's now totally gone from here. That means our this student class code application we successfully completed, right friend? So right now friend, in our next all that function will be just like that same, because I need another function for the group. That means the student group, student shift, student year. Okay, everything will be just like that same, because of all for every functionality I only need the one name. Okay, so that will be needed for creating our project. So for the reasons I don't want to escape this video, but I load it, but you will try to do that work. That means to create this code application by your own, okay, without view my all that rest of this video. But I will create this video. So next in our next video I will create another section for the student year. Okay, so how can create it, how can create this code application, I will show you that things with a live example. So thanks for watching. I will see you in the next video.